I'm Daniel Kowall.
And I'm Tali Kowall.
We're with Kowall Boutique Real Estate and eXp Realty.
As we begin the new year in the city of Calgary, will the residential real estate market sink or swim? Watch until the end to find out.
Wow, I'm so excited for the new year and I'm anticipating great things in 2023. But before we dive into the latest market report, let's take a look back on what happened in 2022. Tali, what exactly happened in the real estate market in 2022?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We actually had a record-breaking year here in the city of Calgary for the residential real estate market. And in 2022, we hit a record high of 29,672 total sales. Also, looking at data for the whole year, Calgary's residential real estate benchmark prices increased 12%, reaching 529,317.
Sounds like an amazing year in 2022, but let's take a look back at the story behind what exactly led to these results. The beginning of 2022 was feeding off a surge of demand in the post-pandemic era, driven by low inventory and a high degree of pent-up demand on the buyer's side. So we actually saw record-breaking months happen month after month, starting from January in terms of sales and prices in 2022 in the city of Calgary. As a result of these record-breaking months, which were actually happening pretty much globally at that time, this was actually driving up prices in the housing market. And this, amongst various other factors, were putting a high degree of inflationary pressures on the global economy. Other factors, such as the Russian invasion of Ukraine, drove up the prices of commodities, particularly energy and agricultural goods. This created new disruptions to an already impaired global supply chain. Canadians actually experienced these effects almost immediately when we began to see higher prices at the gas pumps, as well as grocery stores, where we saw prices raise. The other thing that changed in 2022 was inflation in the prices of services. As the economy fully opened up in the spring, there was a high degree of pent-up demand for various services such as travel and recreation. And when these services began to open up, this actually drove prices up as people started to, really get involved back again in travel and recreation. In that period of time when Canadians were trying to book like a campsite or a local hotel or even restaurants, you could see that firsthand, where those types of services had a huge degree of pent-up demand and could be booked up for several weeks or even months at that period of time. We actually saw service price inflation reach about 5% in the summer of 2022. As inflationary pressures crept higher and higher in 2022, the Bank of Canada had no choice but to take action. And that's when we saw the beginning of interest rate hikes, where we actually saw 7 of them in 2022, and we began to see them happening last year. So from March to December, they actually raised the interest rates from 0.25% to 4.25% at the end of the year in December 2022. As expected, these interest rates quickly slowed down real estate transactions all across Canada. December 2022 in the Calgary real estate market actually saw sales down by about 30% year over year and inventory down about 15% year over year. However, pricing in the city of Calgary actually did not return to pre-pandemic levels. We still regained and we still kept the momentum that we earned over the pandemic, and prices at the end of 22 were still up about 8% over December last year. So historically, Calgary still ended the year with very positive numbers in the real estate market.
Well, as you can see, a lot has happened both globally and locally for 2022. And Calgary has remained a shining light in the Canadian economy compared to most other cities within Canada. There is a recent article in The Economist that ranks Calgary as the #1 most livable city within North America. Surely people are starting to take notice and wanting to live and invest in Calgary.
Absolutely, people are taking notice. In fact, Alberta saw record levels of migration. The province saw its largest population growth ever, adding about 60,000 people from July to September. jobs, affordability, economic outlook are continuing to attract people to Alberta and Calgary specifically, which is a trend I think will continue well into 2023. In fact, in terms of the economy, Alberta is predicting a $12.3 billion surplus in the 2022-23 fiscal year, after it pulled in a record amount of natural resource royalties. It was one of the biggest economic turnarounds in the province's history. While high inflation, rising interest rates, and geopolitical unrest are weighing on global economic activity, Alberta remains well positioned to weather any challenges. In fact, Calgary is actually forecasted to avoid recession altogether in 2023, which is not the case for most of Canada as well as North America in general. Economists at Economic Outlook in October anticipated commodity price-driven growth and momentum of long-term diversification in Calgary's economy will propel the city years ahead.
And I agree that Calgary is well positioned to enter 2023. Although amidst a lot of negative global media, interest rates do seem to be leveling off. And as the Bank of Canada has said, we may be at or close to where we can start to monitor the effects of the interest rate hikes. I do not think that we will see much or many hikes in 2023, and we may in fact see the rates come down in 2024. So as buyers and sellers awaken after the holidays in January, they will become more acclimatized to these interest rates and are ready to buy and sell in this new landscape.
Yes, that is correct. In fact, I think we're beginning to see an increase in activity already. This past week alone, we have seen several properties in Calgary sell within 1 to 2 days with multiple offers over list price. This is typically early to see this amount and jump of activity. So if this continues, if this trend continues, we're definitely going to see a busy market this year in the Calgary real estate market. And this is all driven by low inventory, a high degree of migration that is record-breaking, as well as pent-up demand due to the interest rates. In fact, Remax and Royal LePage both predicted price increases of over 5% in 2023. So to summarize, 2022 was an exciting year in a global economy as well as real estate. As we saw the pandemic decrease and economies start to open up again, an influx of buyers seeped into the market and drove prices up. The influx of buyers in real estate, as well as global economic factors such as the Russia-Ukraine war, have all contributed to rising global inflation. As a result, the Bank of Canada did 7 interest rate hikes in 2022 to try and slow down inflation and bring it back to their goals. In 2023, we are beginning the market with a new perspective amongst higher interest rates and a looming recession. However, Calgary remains a beacon of light amongst all these negative global economic factors, and we continue to draw in tons of migration to Alberta and to Calgary. People are drawn to Calgary due to the affordability of living here, the quality of life, and an abundance of great job opportunities. This influx of demand and low inventory is expected to drive up demand and competition in the real estate market for 2023, which we are already beginning to see in January. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed our January 2023 market report for the city of Calgary in real estate. If you liked our video, please like and subscribe and keep watching. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email, reach out. We're always happy to help, and we love to hear feedback. If you're unsure on where to go with your real estate journey this year, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we'd love to work with you, so feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.